How's it going? Welcome to This and Chat. My guest this week is Pav SZ. He's a YouTuber that does camera reviews, lens reviews, and just watching his videos, you can tell he's so passionate about his gear, and it's just a ton of fun to watch him. In this interview, you'll learn something new about Pav because we just don't talk about cameras, we talk about a whole bunch of other things as well. Sit back and enjoy my interview with Pav SZ. All right, Pav, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. Privilege.
It's my pleasure. I really enjoy watching your videos, and it's great to
Thank you.
be talking to you in person. So I like to usually kick things off a little bit, talking about before Pav, the YouTuber, videographer, photographer. What kind of kid were you, Pav? Were you what kind of
Oh,
things were you interested in, and did you like school? That kind of thing.
God, that's going deep, deep. I don't know. I think to summarize, I was always artistic. That's kind of summarizes me because I always like to draw. Drawing and painting was always from my whole childhood. Uh, that's pretty much creative from the start. But I went to school to college. I went to be a study. I went to study to be jeweler, and I did a 5 year jewelry making college. so so it's kind of far away from photography and video, but always been creative side of things.
I know you mentioned in your Q&A that after you weren't quite sure that you wanted to be a jeweler, you were into oil painting. So is that something kind of you did as a kid as well?
Well, I used to draw. So the kind of drawing probably was a painting watercolors and pencil drawings. But I went like insane. I would draw like 5 pictures a day, every day.
Were you one of those kids who was just always drawing in class when the teacher was talking and
Yeah.
just like
I mean,
writing
I
books?
went to art college. I used to draw for other people. that's a that's kind of summarizes actually my slide OCD and everything I do.
In terms of painting now, do you still keep up with it?
No.
No.
Unfortunately, I draw like with a pen, on a piece of paper. I sometimes take like a notebook and I fill 3 pages with drawings, but nothing I would put out publicly anywhere. It's private now. I think it's because it takes so long to create something I'm happy with. And I think probably I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but this is like why I do photography because I'm lazy. So instead of creating a scene with the watercolors through taking maybe 3 days, I can just press the button and have the same picture with a camera.
No, Pav, you mentioned in your Q&A guitars, and I'm just wondering what. So I take it, you play, and I'm wondering what's the story behind that? Have you been playing a long time? What
Oh
are some of
God.
the guitars you own? What do you like to play? That kind of thing.
The story is that I've been also very obsessed with music all my life, and I still
Okay,
am. And I don't know. When I was teenager and when I was growing up and a young adult, I never had a chance to actually learn to play guitar or
okay.
be with a band. So I've started quite late in my life, probably like late 20s.
Hmm.
I've started playing guitars, and then I played with a band called Never Dime Fall for good 8-10 years. Never Dime Fall means nothing. It was like paradigm, but we changed the para to never dime, never dime fall. So it's metal, was metal and rock mainly. I think still is. I play all kinds of music now, but I've got the same with the cameras. Really, I've got a gear acquisition syndrome. I get emotionally attached to things, and I've got every single guitar I ever bought, which is 9 of them now. So I get emotionally attached to an object, a guitar, and I will never let it go. It's kind of a part of me. It becomes part of me.
Do you have a favorite guitar that you own right now?
I've got one here. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, of course.
This is a long story. It's not Les Paul. It's a copy.
Okay.
So this is no longer on this. This was made to order for me. So it's kind of a copy of Les Paul. It's very heavy. It looks very pretty, but it's a very cheap copy, which I absolutely love. It plays great, feels great, and it looks like pretty like this.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's always guitar somewhere around in my house.
I love it. So you mentioned, you were into metal and rock music. So is there a song from your childhood or maybe
Oh
even
God.
your like teen years that really has this strong lingering memory for you?
Oh yes, there was. If I have to say, there probably be two.
Okay.
Metallica, Enter Sandman would be probably number one,
Okay.
and Megadeth, Symphony of Destruction would be second. There's a song which I can play like over and over again and will never get bored of them.
Do you remember the first time you heard metal music?
Yeah, I grew up. My parents never actually fed me any music.
Mhm.
Like
Okay.
they never actually been influenced by at home by any music. So I picked probably pop originally. Like pop bands. Pet Shop Boys I used to like
Mhm.
when I was a
Mhm.
kid. I remember going with a friend to a music shop and the guy put a cassette in. When I was there, we were just standing in the music shop. The guy put a cassette in. It was a Slayer, Rain and Blood. I've heard that first. I remember moments I
Okay.
heard it. I thought, oh my god, I love this. So angry.
Do you remember the first album you bought?
Yes. I actually bought it recently on vinyl again. Motley Crue. Girls, girls, girls. Very cheesy.
So, Pat, what are your interests outside of photography, videography? What can we find you doing when you just have an off moment and you can kind of like chill and relax?
I don't. I mean, my family, and people who know me know that I live and breathe photography and video. Especially now we're doing YouTube as well. I'm more involved because before doing commercially for many years,
Mhm.
photography and video, when I wouldn't work, I would be doing something else, which probably would be nothing or watching TV. But now when I'm not doing anything. I'll be doing video for YouTube. So it's kind of it's yeah, I like taking pictures and doing videos. So it's kind of I'm in very fortunate position because I got a lot of gear to test all the time.
Mhm.
So yeah, I am passionate about it, but I get the pretty toys to play with all the time. So I never get bored. Could be always something new in
Mhm.
my hands
Mhm.
to play with.
Right. So this question's a little outside the box, but Pav, if you
Okay.
could go back in time and you're in a bubble, you're safe, you're invisible, where do you go and what do you see?
Oh God, I don't know. I'd go to probably myself when I was 10 years old and give myself lottery numbers. I don't know. I don't think I'd I mean, now with the current events, I'd like to go to to Russia in '50s and do something with Putin, lock him in
Mhm.
the box. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Cut it out. Beep it out.
Yeah, okay.
Someone from KGB will be watching this.
For sure.
I don't know. I don't think I've got a specific time in
Okay.
history. On of time, I would say, oh, I love to go there. I don't know.
All right. So these are a bit more fast-paced questions, but if you want to elaborate, feel free.
Okay.
Pav, do you have a favorite sports team?
Oh, sports team. Mercedes F1.
Do you prefer cats or dogs?
Cats.
Fall?
I've got three
Oh, okay.
cats.
Fall or spring?
Fall.
Smarties or M&Ms?
Smarties.
What's one movie you've probably seen like the most amount of times?
There's a few, but there's a one probably. No, I can't say one. I've got like three movies I just keep watching over and over
Okay.
again. One keeps straight comes back to my mind is Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg,
Mm-hmm.
the cheesy Rockstar film. I quite like that. I could watch it many times. Mrs. Doubtfire, that's another one.
Okay.
It's like every time it's on TV, I can watch the whole thing. There's another one, but my memory is great. I was thinking about it recently. There's one movie, Kevin Smith movies. That's the another one.
Okay. Hmm.
Clerks 2, probably, and Mallrats. These films I can watch like over and over again.
Pav, what's one snack or treat that's kind of like your weakness? So if it's in front of you, you're gonna eat it.
Beer. Is that a
any
good
per-
answer?
any particular one, or is it just
No, I think I feel grown up now because I'm tasting some IPAs now.
Mhm.
I've finally got the stage in my life that I'm trying grown up beers now.
Okay? What's a TV show that you've watched through more than once?
I don't usually watch TV shows more than once.
Okay.
Um, I think I would probably say one I could probably watch again.
Hmm.
It would be The Outlander
Okay.
at the moment.
What's one food, Pav, that reminds you of your childhood?
Roast chicken,
And what's one food you think everyone should try?
rare steak.
Do you have a favorite childhood book?
Oh, childhood. I think the Jules Verne, the 20,000 League Under the Sea. That's probably I probably read that a few times when I was a kid.
And just in general, do you have a book you would recommend people check out?
Oh, that's a good one. I love Helen Coben. I love his stuff. I can't say a particular one, but I kind of keep going through his books like over and over again. I think I'm saying it right. Helen Coben. I think it's right.
If you went on a vacation, Pav, would you prefer it to be relaxing or adventurous?
Oh, adventurous, definitely. I'm one of those people who I can't just sit down and do nothing.
Mhm.
So if I go on vacation, which I'm going next week, actually, I'm looking for a place I can walk and take pictures,
Oh,
or
okay.
fly a drone now, or something. Something I can do with photography. So adventurous, yes, adventurous.
And what's the most picturesque place you've ever been?
God, that's a good one. I live in UK. There's a lot of nice places here. Scotland,
Yes.
Scotland. I'm gonna say Scotland.
Pav, if you had your own television show, what do you think the theme song would be?
Megadeth, Symphony of Destruction.
I had a feeling it might be metal song. Pav, do you remember? Doesn't have to be a video camera, but do you remember the first camera you've ever owned?
Yes. I've never been into photography before digital, kind of. So I've started
Okay.
when the digital camera started. So I do remember my first camera. I've got a leaflet actually. I found this on my side section over there. It was a Fuji FinePix S1 Pro, which was I think it was like a 5 million pixels
Mhm.
DSLR camera, which was the first Fuji camera, which was actually a Nikon body with a
Okay.
Fuji name on it. So it was Nikon lenses on it. It was a good camera at the time. The screen was like this big. It was tiny.
it's, it's funny to see how technology has progressed over the years.
Yeah.
What's your most favorite shoot? Like either it could be a video session or just like a photo session. But what was like your most favorite shoot that you have done?
Oh, again, I have to give multiple answers because there isn't one.
That's fine.
Probably one of them would be music videos. I've
Okay.
done. I haven't done a lot, but I have done quite a few which did very good for the bands I worked with. And the second one would be food photography. I'm loving this. My pet, my baby, as it comes to working as a professional photographer, is food photography.
All right. This is gonna be a tough question, but if you could take aspects of cameras and build your like ideal camera, what would you take from what brand and like how would it look?
I know what you're using, so I'm gonna say it'll be Lumix S5 with a Sony A7 IV autofocusing system,
Yeah, I think that's solid. I'm actually shoot.
and
Oh, go. Sorry, go on, Pav.
that'll be the camera
Okay,
I like
you'd
to
be
have.
happy with that. Okay.
Absolutely,
Yeah, I have both, so it's okay. You can say.
I've got both, so it's
I think you kind of touched upon this in your earlier answers, but what's your like favorite aspect of being a photographer and being a videographer?
being creative, and I think more than that, I think it's being able to shoot. Because I worked for nearly 20 years as a freelancer photographer,
Okay.
and no matter how busy you are, there's always dry times. Like January is usually,
Hmm.
or there's a, you have to keep chasing clients. If you don't chase clients, you got these patches of time when you don't. I didn't shoot in the past, but now because I do YouTube and I do camera lenses reviews, I shoot all the time, and that kind of it makes it special. Just be able to shoot as much as I can. If I have got a purpose, not just take a camera and find something, I've actually got a purpose to shoot all the time, and I like that.
So I know you touched upon this in your Q&A, but I was wondering if maybe you could elaborate a bit. I know you said that you just kind of just bought a camcorder and then you like joined a club and then you kind of like just got work through that like word of mouth kind of thing. But what was like that transition to becoming like a full-time photographer and videographer?
This is a good story. I think. I hope it is, because I used to paint when I moved to UK. I moved to UK 27 years ago,
Hmm.
when I was only teenager really, and I tried to make a living by painting and drawing and selling the paintings to galleries. And this is actually the story behind it is because my company is called Pav Studio S, and this is because when I used to paint, a friend of mine told me do not sign the pictures with your full name because nobody can read it.
Okay.
So just sign it with Pav,
Hmm.
and then number in the back. So you should be Pav at the front on the painting with the date, and then on the back there'll be Studio S from my
Hmm.
surname. And then at some point in '90s, I decided to branch out creatively to video, and I got myself a camcorder. I started making films. So kind of this whole thing, the whole name transitioned from Pav Studio S to TV Pav Studio S, and that was the first transition. I did like some horrible films really. It was, I've got somewhere on disc now. I transferred them from VHS, but it wasn't really what you can do now. Just with your phone, it's miles better than what you could do then. But I've tried, and I think that was the first thing. And then I got myself a job. This is kind of long story really short, but I worked all kind of jobs at the time, and then I got someone told someone that I used to make films as a kind of amateur with a camcorder, and I got a job. Someone believed in me with no qualifications, no education. Someone gave me a studio to manage in Manchester in a big agency with it was a blue screen. It wasn't green. It was a blue screen. It was educational videos with a big camera, the lights and everything, and I've learned on a job, and that was the first step to video. And after that job, I had another job. I went to be web designer, and literally first 2 days on the job, someone said, "Can anyone use a camera? We need some photos." And I put my hand up. They gave me it was a Sony. I think it was called no, it wasn't Mavica. I think Sony Mavica with the floppy disks. It was that long ago. And that was my first camera I've actually used as a professionally really on a job. And that was my transition to video professionally, and then photography professionally as well.
Pav, what would be your dream collaboration? It doesn't have to be like necessarily a YouTube collaboration, but just like a collaboration with another creator or just like an artist, and just making content with them. Who would you want to do that with?
I mean, I don't know. I'm a loner, I kind of because I do a lot of work by myself. I'm kind of I do hire freelancers to work with me, but I think it's I can say that I like to be in control. So to collaborate, I don't know. Maybe if something came up forward, I would consider it, but I can't say I'm searching for someone. I don't know who my ideal collaborator is, but I would say differently. This, as I said before, music videos is kind of my big thing. I love to work with I love to, some of the big bands or record labels give me a chance. Like Ghost, for example, now. I'd love to do a music video for Ghost. I have a budget to do my music video for Ghost.
So like, just since you're here, I may as well ask you a bit more about camera gear. Obviously, I think most of the people who watch your channel, they know what you like and whatnot, but are there any things that's been like surprising? Maybe, now I don't want you to give any spoilers because obviously you're probably like working on stuff right now, but like, let's just say in the last year, what's some of your favorite gear that you've reviewed or just used?
S5 and A7 IV, those two cameras are definitely. I had Sonys for quite some time.
Okay.
I had A7 III before, and I got A7S2 for a very long time. I only sold it last week, my A7S2 actually, but I've been with Sony for quite some time, but I never actually used it. I used it for reviews and a bit of a play, but I never actually used Sony professionally, or very little. So it was always Nikon to go photography wise for photography, and then and since S5 came out, and since I've been using it, full time, probably year S5 for majority of video, but now S7 IV came out, which I'm using now, and I'm transitioning the photography from Nikon to Sony now, as a gear goes. I love the A7 IV. It just gives me, I think, because S5 is great. I mean, I love the color it produces. What a great camera. The menus, how it feels, whole thing about the S5 is just brilliant camera. But I am getting older and I have to wear glasses when I film. I can't rely 100% on my eyes now to get a focusing right.
That's fair.
So if I'm in a control situation and not run and gun, and I'll do stuff slowly, and I can use the monitor or interviews stuff. S5 will be always my number one camera to go to. But if I have to run and gun, and trust the gear, the Sony A7 IV will be like gimbal work, or things that I don't have to worry about at the focus. It'll be always Sony. Photography as well, because I think Panasonic is great, but then I've got more Sony lenses now than Lumix lenses, so it kind of makes more sense to use Sony more as a professional camera. So yeah, those two probably the best pieces of kit. Also, last week I have reviewed the Sony 50mm f1.2, and that lens, I want that lens. It's calling me. I can hear it. It's out of all the lenses I reviewed, it's over 100 lenses I reviewed on my channel now. That one actually has spoken to me that I should be buying it soon.
Thinking about YouTube, I know your first few videos don't really have to do with, they're just kind of like vlogs. I think imagine any of your fans, they can just go check it out. But could you imagine from that day that you just were like posting random stuff to today, where you're actually getting lenses, like companies are coming to you and saying, hey, review my lens? Can you just take us through, like, how does that feel? Like, is it surreal when you first got that when you were able to
It's
just
not. I mean, no. It's almost saying, they think other bands here. You made it overnight.
Mhm.
I didn't make it overnight. It took
Mhm.
me 3 years to where I am
Mhm,
now
mhm,
of
mhm,
making video every single week. So
mhm,
it's not like suddenly I'm here. I'm not huge by any means.
mhm.
Just under 20,000 subscribers, but it was a very long transition journey. I got a phone calling.
It's okay.
Sorry about that. It was a long way transition to from where I was originally. I started my channel. Actually, I've deleted all the videos because I used to play guitar on my channel as well. I used to play songs on there, so it was like literally a bit of everything, a bit of vlogging, and then somehow I think I probably was around 100 subscribers at the time when I
Mhm.
thought, why try reviewing, why not try reviewing lenses and cameras? But where do you get the stuff from unless you buy it, which is very
Yes, that's true.
expensive?
Yes, exactly.
It is very difficult to start doing that. But this is probably, I would say, to anyone who wants to start YouTube and review gear.
Mhm, mhm.
What I've done, I approached my local camera shop, and that was a game changer. I'm still working with them now. They call UK Digital. They're local. They're literally 5 minute drive away from me, and they wouldn't talk to me. I was just another person asking for something. They
Mhm,
asked every single day about something,
mhm.
and I went in the shop and I wouldn't leave until the owner talked to me. And he did. We talked, and I've talked to him. He lent me Sigma 2470 the first time. I had to sign all the forms that
Mm,
won't steal
mm.
it, and I bring it back to the shop. And then, but that enabled me to go that direction because I could just go there and say, "Oh, have you got that lens in stock? Can I borrow it for a week?"
Yes.
And they were very kind. What I've done, what I'm still doing for them when they lend me lenses, I take my review and I strip me talking out of it.
Mhm.
So I take the B-roll and samples and I cut it to music and I put their logo in the corner and they use it on their pages for the product. So
Awesome.
every time they lend me something, I'll give
Mhm.
them a little video back to use on their website or social media, whatever they want to do with it. So it's kind of was that was definitely the moment when I've decided to go from yeah, I had no plan. I literally never thought I'm gonna be doing YouTube full time,
Mhm,
or
mhm.
any time. It was kind of I just throw a video now and then, and then suddenly, oh yeah, people are actually watching it, and more people are interested in seeing what I'm got to say and looking at my pictures, and then the brand started approaching me. So yeah, you kind of yeah, it's not going back now. It's too late. Way past no return point.
So this might be a tough question, but okay, you can only have one piece of glass for the rest of your life. What do you take?
50mm f1.2 G Master. I don't have it, but I will have it. I'll give it a name when I buy it.
All right, Pav. So just in terms of achieving something in your lifetime, does not have to be YouTube related. Just a goal or something you'd like to do. What is something?
I'm very fortunate because I've got everything I need.
Hmm, hmm,
I've
hmm,
got a great job. I
hmm.
love my job, what I do and the clients I'm working with. And the YouTube was, I think I need to say this as well because I think my goal is to be able to make a YouTube video to the standard I'm doing it now because I like my videos at the moment
Hmm.
without, over, not without, but with minimal effort. Because it takes me so much time now to create that.
Hmm.
Like, I script everything. So I've started doing YouTube originally as a whole idea was to talk to camera because I am terrible at public speaking.
Okay.
I've tried and my memory goes and I just go all over the place. So I thought if I start doing YouTube videos, I kind of develop the technique to tell about something in a
Hmm.
structured way. And unfortunately for me, I've discovered autocue. And now I script everything, so I haven't learned really that much. I just learned to read well.
Hmm.
And that's
Hmm.
what I can do now. I'm actually doing public talk this month. Towards the end of the month, I'm talking about YouTube and how I grew my channel publicly. It's a small event locally here, a business event, how to grow the YouTube as business.
Okay.
So I threw myself at the deep end. But I think that what I like to achieve really is just be better being me. That's
That's fair.
the gist of it. Yeah,
I think that's something everyone should strive for. Will
yeah.
there be a video of this talk by any chance, Bob?
I thought about it, but I don't know. Maybe if I
Okay.
can find someone to operate the cameras, I might stream it live on YouTube.
Oh,
But it crossed my mind, but I don't know if it will be possible or not.
okay.
Don't know yet.
That's fair.
Maybe. Who knows?
And just in terms of words of wisdom, a saying you enjoy.
Be true to yourself and consistent. See, I'm a true YouTuber now. Be consistent with everything you do.
I mean, that's
I think
just
that's it.
it at the end of
True
the
to
day.
yourself. You have to be true to yourself. That's the main thing. Whatever you do, if you're not, and you're forcing yourself to do things you're not liking, you're not gonna enjoy your life.
Okay, Pav,
That's
can you?
profound, God.
That's all right. Sounds good to me. Pav, can you let everyone know where we can find you on YouTube and just any other social media?
Yeah, it's everything is Pav SZ on every social media. So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for Pav SZ or SZ for all of you Americans. Not you, you Canadian, but all of Americans.
For sure. Yeah, so but just everyone, make sure to check them out because I think what comes across for me, Pav, when I watch your videos is you can tell that you're so passionate about
Thank you.
gear and you're just enjoying it. I can just tell you're having
How
fun.
how did you
making
find me?
these.
I don't know. How did you which video of mine did you find? Which review did you watch
Don't
first?
know. I feel like I've been watching you for several months. I, it must have just been a lens review, I think, but
It probably was Lumix because you
it's
are
probably
you
Lumix
know
related at first, but then I also got the Sony a couple months ago as well. But the Lumix, I've had the S5 now for about a year, so
Yeah.
maybe it's during that timeline. I feel like I discovered you. So, but yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
thank you.
Pav,
Thank you for finding me.
oh no problem. He's an amazing source and just passionate. Like I said, you can tell that this that Pav loves cameras and what he talks about, and I think that as a viewer, that's what I like to see because
Thank you.
that's
But
people relate to that.
you watch my stuff. If someone hasn't seen it, I don't go ever technical. I don't go about how sharp lenses are in the corners or photographer charts. So I think it's much easier for me to be passionate about it because I talk about how not exactly, but I almost talk about how I feel
Yes.
using that particular lens or a camera, and show the pictures I've taken with it and videos instead of talking, about the sharpness in the corners or how many aperture blades is in the lens or whatever, all the stuff most people don't care. There's lots of reviews on
Yeah,
YouTube like
exactly.
that. Yeah, I'm not interested in myself. I've got no interest how many aperture blades every lens got. Zero. Like literally, I don't care. Also, the sharpness in the corners. What's the obsession with the sharpness in the corners of every lens? Whenever, ever do you take a picture of a person right in the corner of a frame, like literally there, or anything? I mean, I understand if it's like a landscape. Even then, how important the corner, like this corner, would be. I can't even right there. That corner is not important that much in the picture. If it's slightly softer, who cares? Nobody.
Very true. Let's just put it this way: if the viewer or if the audience is looking at the corner, you're probably doing something wrong.
Yeah, yeah. You missed something important in the middle.
Yes, exactly. That's it. All right, Pav. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining me. I had a blast talking with you, and
Thank you for having me. Absolute pleasure.
my pleasure. And once again, thank you for your content. And I look forward to watching more. And
Well, I
hearing
hope your channel is
reviews.
gonna grow very quickly. You got a great channel. You only started, but I love your interviews. So I hope it's gonna go. You'll be interviewing Peter McKinnon soon.
Thank
I
you.
hope
Thank you.
so.
I appreciate it. All right, everybody. Like I said, make sure to check out Pav on social media and YouTube, and keep watching. Thanks. Thanks again, Pav.
Thank you.
I just want to say thanks to Pav for taking the time to chat with me. Be sure to check out Pav's YouTube channel and social media. That will all be linked in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and if you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, and a comment. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you next video.